we're back this week for another edition of Te Akau TV, joined by Te Akau trainer Sam Burgesson. Sam, a few trials today, Thursday, 8th of February.
Yeah, so we had the Cambridge trials on. Probably not the greatest results, but look, they needed a public hit out, and they'll all head to Taupo on the 27th. And when we had plenty of jump outs here at home following the races on the course proper down the mile chute, so we're able to get some nice work onto them on a good course proper here at Meta. So yeah, it's all go here. Plenty of racing and jump outs and trials, and we're just ticking along nicely at this stage.
And we might see some of those more autumn 2-year-olds starting to come out or pop out of the trials in the coming weeks.
Yeah, for sure. We had a nice team of younger horses jump out there this morning and got good experience there down the back straight on the course proper. And most of them will head to the trials either at Tauranga on the 20th or Taupo on the 27th. So an exciting time of the year. Obviously, the sort of later 2-year-olds are sort of building up a bit now. So it's good to get them out in the public eye.
And some nice results over the weekend there. Headline in New Plymouth in the Group 3 Taranaki 2-year-old Classic by Captured by Love, undefeated. Now the ridden Tycoon filly. Didn't look entirely comfortable in the ground, but got the job done.
Yeah, it ended up being a tough track there and at Wingatui. Actually, there was plenty of rain around the country, and she didn't love it, but probably class got her over the line. Like Opie said, she really struggled in the ground, and like it was probably a tough watch for punters at the short odds and at the 600, and even heading around the home bend, she looked in trouble, but really toughed it out. So she's just having a quiet week, and we'll hopefully head to the Meta Breeders here on her home track on better surface, which, she's a really exciting filly, and then hopefully onto a Group 1 target.
Excellent. And you mentioned Wingatui there, headlined by the South Island Horse of the Year in Group 3 White Robe Lodge, weight for age, perfect scenario, went back to back.
Yeah, he's a champ, like an absolute stable favourite to have around. You'd love a barn full of him. He's just so genuine. Like, it seems like he's been around forever. He's a 6-year-old now, but he's probably nearing career best form. Hunter and the team down there have done a fantastic job with him, and he just seems to go from strength to strength down there. Really enjoys it. It was fantastic to see him go back to back because he is a grand old horse.
And Superbly Ridden was a bit unlucky. We see her again back up this week. We'll talk about her in a minute. But Catherine Kin also got a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, she's probably not the biggest, but tries really hard. Got stuck down in the worst of the ground as well. So it was a really good, tough effort.
Excellent. And wrapping up just the one winner there at Meta, but in a pretty impressive one at that with Kwali Alpha Rasha getting the chocolates in the last race there.
Yeah, she'd sort of been a bit unlucky heading into that race. And drawn a wide barrier. So it was a really good effort and a good ride by Opie to get her across and get a bit of cover.
Just outside of that, a pretty exciting week of racing there with Te Rapa Legends Day there on Saturday. But before we go and have a look at that, we're going to headline the Te Akau yearling of the week. And we think we've found one here, Sam, in lot 682, the Sotono Aladdin filly out of the Galileo mare. Cuddles for Layla. This was the last lot there of the sales, lot 682. And I think the team thought that they came away with a bit of a steal there, taking her away for 150,000.
Yeah, we sort of had planned to have a bit more money for her. So we were lucky to get her at the price. Obviously, being the last lot of the day, there probably wasn't as many people around as there should have been. But look, she was a lovely sort of scopy filly. We thought she was athletic enough to sort of be a sort of Christmas or late 2-year-old, but looks a really nice sort of 3-year-old classic sort of type. Had a good bit of size, a really good walk, and being out of a Galileo mare, had plenty of upside on the page as well. So a really nice filly we thought was at a really good price.
Fantastic. Well, have a look at her out of the weekend. There's still 52.5% remaining in her, and I believe there'll be a video inserted here, not thereafter, to showcase that pretty smart-looking filly. So take a look at her and get in touch with the team over the weekend if you are interested. But heading over to Waikato at Te Rapa there for Legends Day, and we kick off there in race number 1, 2 runners there in El Viento and Balance of Power.
Yeah, El Viento, he was meant to run at New Plymouth, but we obviously scratched because of the track. And then was potentially going to run at Matamata as well, but drew the outside. So he goes to Te Akau. We've found a nice race for him. We probably would have loved to have been 1400, but back to the 1300. We think he's still sharp enough to run a really good race. He couldn't have been more impressive last time, sort of attacking the line late there. And looks a horse with plenty of upside. He's sort of doing things a lot better now. He was a bit sort of keen and overdid things early on, but the penny's starting to drop. So he's a nice horse going forward, and looks a nice each way chance on Saturday.
And race 2 there, the Allied Security 1200 maidens at a time, 1200 metres. Certainly, not many people would have missed her run there in the Levin Classic, flashing home out wide.
Yeah, like it was probably a bit stiff not to have finished a bit closer. Like if she'd drawn a barrier, like you wouldn't have been surprised if she'd won it. Just had to go quite far back from the outside barrier, and then sort of got flush wide on the corner, wider than we would have hoped. But was really strong through the line. Her sectionals were fantastic. We've given a bit of a freshen up from them. Obviously dropped back to 1200, so we've kept her really fresh. And her work this week has been really good. So hopefully, she can go out there on Saturday and get a result, because we've got some bigger targets in mind for her. She's a filly we've always really liked, and we think a lot of her. So hopefully Saturday's a good stepping stone.
And another one the stable have a bit of time for is the Fortuna horse Vivacious. Was an impressive winner at Te Akau, and then struck a pretty competitive field on a sticky track there down in Wellington in the Eulogy Stakes.
Yeah, just obviously the ground really didn't suit her there down at Wellington. It was a bog. So we gave her a freshen up, I think, back to 1200 suits. Just gave her a quiet trial there at Te Akau, and she seems in really good order. So another nice each way chance, but would probably lean towards certainly.
And race 3 there, the Dr. John Southworth Memorial Vase, rating 75, benchmark 1200. Insatiable started to find better form as he progressed through his South Island campaign, finished up there in Wellington on the 9th of December. But he's a horse that's really kind of started to improve.
Yeah, it just took a while for him for the penny to drop. He's another one that was sort of overdoing things. Unfortunately, the sticky gate doesn't really help. He just needs cover to get him to relax a bit. But he's another one that comes through a nice quiet trial there at Te Akau, and we're expecting a bold run. And
Dancerina there again for Fortuna, drawn out wide in barrier 16, but has the services of the informed jockey Warren Kennedy.
Yeah, she's in really good form here at home. Like her work's been super, but we'll just need a bit of luck from that gate.
Xantabulous, second on the ballot, trialled really well in behind Brando there at Te Akau.
Yeah, she's coming off a big freshen up. We were really happy with her trial there at Te Akau. Vinny he's riding in great form as well, and we think she can run a really bold race. She's another one that's working enormous. So yeah, looking forward to her kicking back off.
And race 4 there, the Group 2, David and Karen Fenton Ellis fillies classic there for 3-year-old fillies, set weights over 2,000 metres. Very competitive field of pretty high-class fillies in here, but Inspired by Art was pretty impressive there, winning in between runners there at Matamata last up.
Yeah, you're right. It's a red hot field. You wouldn't be surprised if sort of 8 or 9 of them won this race. She couldn't have been more impressive last time. She found a lot of trouble and managed to get herself out of it. Was really strong through the line. We think she'll love the 2,000 meters and potentially further down the track. Bit of a sticky gate, but she'll go back anyway. We think that's the way to ride her. She just ride her quite early, and she can rattle off some sectionals late. And yeah, Opie really likes her and has always had an opinion of her. So looking forward to seeing how she sort of fits in with it all against these top class fillies, because we've always sort of had a good opinion of her, and we'll know a lot more after Saturday.
And race 5 there, the Peter Kelly Bailey's Real Estate 2100, Devoted draws barrier 3 with Jessica Allen on board.
Look, he was a big winner at odds a few starts ago, so hopefully he can pull that off again. Jess knows him really well. He's got a soft gait, and confident of seeing out the 2100, but probably need to improve off his last effort.
And the Group 1, or the first Group 1 on the card there, the Herbie Dyke Stakes, weight for age over 2,000 metres, another very competitive field. Campionessa finds herself in this race, drawn barrier 8 with Open Boss and Novel.
Yeah, obviously Legato's there, and the benchmark. But just forget her run last start at Trentham. She's drawn 1 on a very testing track and just never got going, never got into the race. Has a fantastic record at Te Akau. We gave her a hit out between races here, just something a bit different for her. Yesterday on Wednesday on her home course at Matamata, and she seems in really good order. Palmer rode her, who rides a lot of her work, and she said she's in tip-top shape. So, barrier 8's probably a little bit sticky, but I'm sure Opie can slide across and work it out from the 2,000-metre start. But yeah, look, obviously she's got a fantastic record at Te Akau, and deserves to be a really good each-way chance.
And race 8 there, the second Group 1 on the card, the BCD Group Sprint, weight for age over 1,400 metres. The Levin Classic winner, Quintessa, gets in here very low on the weights with 53.5 kilos, draws a nice barrier in barrier 5 and has Matthew Cameron on board.
Yeah, obviously she's going up against some hard and weight for age performers, as well as the new kid on the block, Chris Shetty. So it's going to be a really interesting race. Look, she does have a nice barrier draw, a nice low weight. And she's a winner. Like, she doesn't win by much, but she knows where the line is, and tries her heart out. So she's another one. We gave a hit out here at Matamata yesterday between races. Her work was pretty good. Like, she's pretty lazy and goes through the motions here at home, but gets to race day with the blinkers on and turns it on. So really looking forward to Saturday and see how she fits in as well. And then hopefully it's a good stepping stone to the Australian Guineas in 3 weeks.
Excellent. The race 9, the vertical logistics 1400, rating 75 benchmark. Two take their place here. Caravella, who is in a nice vein of form, and Francie there for Hanui Stud.
Yeah, two nice each way chances. Caravella's in a really good, consistent vein of form, trying her heart out, and her work since has been good. And Francie, we're just sort of given a little bit of a freshen up following her run at Ellerslie. She's been getting back and running on and producing really good sectionals. So the blinkers go on. She's drawn barrier 1. Opie knows her really well. And I think back at Te Akau, she can, hopefully, if she can get a nice enough run in transit, she should be hard to beat.
Over to Riccarton there, the Riccarton Park Function Centre maiden 1600. Beau Brummel, there's probably one, if you're going back through the tapes, to have a look at his run last start in a pretty competitive field there, where he came home for fourth nicely, but had more on the line.
Yeah, hit the line really well. It looks a nice race for him. Sort of barrier 7 gives Palmer a few options. And look, we were sort of going into that race a bit sceptical. His debut run down there was pretty poor, but we stepped him up to a mile pretty quick, and he produced a good run. So he's in really good form. Hunter's happy with how he's come through and trained on, and his work this week has been pretty good. So hopefully, he can get a nice run in transit and be a nice each way chance.
And race 2, the Fiona Stewart Memorial Maiden, plenty of style. Draws barrier 6 and Aaron Palmer on board.
Yes, sort of similar to Beau Brummel, was poor on debut down there, but a really good run last time. They were finding the line well, those two, and just another one, barrier 6, Palmer on. Hopefully, if he gets a nice enough run, he can figure in it somewhere.
Race 3 there, the Alistair Gray Memorial Maiden 1400. Tranquilla for Cambridge Stud there was good last start, finishing second, draws wide here in barrier 16. Yeah,
probably stiff not to win last time. And with the barrier, we may just wait till the 23rd. There's another maiden 14 there. She'll need a bit of luck from out there, so we may just wait.
Lady of Court draws barrier 6 with Aaron Palmer on board.
Yeah, I thought her run here on her home track was really good first up. She's taken plenty of improvement. Happy with how she's travelled down. Hunter said she's in good order and settled in well and eating well. So it looks a nice race for her to hopefully break her maiden ranks.
And race 4, the Entain NZB Insurance Pearl Series race. For the 2-year-old, set weight and penalties over 1,000. Quintafili, not that bad, finishing behind Damask Rose there on her race day debut. Now finds herself in skinny odds there in the South Island.
Yeah, obviously unbackable odds. But he's another one. He's sort of been down there a while now. There was a race sort of 2 weeks ago, but it got cancelled. But he's in super form. Obviously, that form from his maiden is very good, which hence the short price. But yeah, looks very hard to beat.
And Kwali Alfarash's brother, Nuclear Zor, finds himself down there as well after trialling behind Poetic Champion in his trial debut. Yeah,
unfortunately, he won't take the field. He's spiked the temperature. He was about to get on the float, head down. But yeah, he's not well. So he's just having a few quiet days in the paddock, and we'll monitor him. But he won't be racing on today.
Excellent. GM accounting, race 6 and consulting, rating 65, benchmark, superbly written. Almost looked a certainty beat there on the worst of the ground there last start. Finds herself here with another iffy draw. How's she going on the quick backup?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, probably a bit stiff not to win, beaten by the stablemate. Palmer lost his iron, unfortunately. That's the last 100. But it was a really good effort. We'll probably look to ride her cold again from the barrier, so he should be able to get cover. But we'll just need a bit of luck up the straight. Hopefully the long straight at Riccarton, sort of suits her. And if she was, to put on a performance like that again, she looks hard to beat.
Race 7, the C.S. Stevens Memorial Banks Peninsula Cup Open Handicap over 1100. Millie Fiore finds her place in this field.
Yeah, just forget she went around last time. Unfortunately, 3 wide on speed. It just doesn't work. So look, a nice soft barrier draw. Palmer knows her well. Should get a nice run. We've kept her really fresh, obviously back to the 1100. But she can sprint well. She's got a good sort of 1200 metre record there. So, another nice chance.
And race 8 there, the TAB Southern Alps Golden Ticket, rating 75, benchmark. Fellini draws barrier 10 with Naranjan Palmer on board.
Yeah, he probably needs to improve off his previous efforts. He was unfortunately in the race where it was the false start and then they got called back. So forget he went around last time, but he does need to improve. But just hopefully he can bounce out and put himself up in the race. He's sort of been dropping out the back and pretty uninterested. I don't think he's putting in too hard. So we've sort of varied his work at home, trying a few different things with him. So hopefully he can improve, but we'll need to off his previous efforts.
And just the 2 there at Tauranga on Sunday in race 7, the Duncan Dental 1600, rating 75, benchmark. Freeze frame and Sophisticato.
Yeah, I think 2 nice each way chances. Sophisticato looks like he's screaming out for a mile, even though his record previously hasn't been that great, sort of up 1400 in a mile. But he's attacking the line like he wants it, and his work's been good. Opie actually galloped him here this morning, gave him a bit of run along, said he feels really good for him, so that's pleasing. And I think Freeze Frame is a really nice chance. He's always been one we've had a bit of an opinion of. And he's running in really good races. So hopefully, you just need probably a little bit of luck. But he's another nice each way chance.
Nice. Well, that wraps up the runners there for the weekend, Sam. Where are we going for the best bet? Reese got us home last week with Capture by Love.
I love to tip Quinterful, but it's $1.20, so it's a bit stiff. And it's probably... I'd probably go certainly at $1.60, so not much better either. But yeah, I think a really nice team. So hopefully, obviously on the big days, you do need a bit of luck in running and the right ride. But I think certainly looks, one out of the box for sure.
Excellent. Well, next week we have Imperatriz returning there in the Lightning Stakes, so we'll try and catch up with Ben Gleeson before she goes around, and of course the all-important Avondale Guineas meeting there at Ellerslie, where a lot of the Derby form does come from. And I understand that a horse like Tokyo Tycoon might be taking his place over ground for the first time.
Yeah, his run in the Cricket Million we thought was really good. It looked at the top of the straight he's going to be in it, and then halfway down he's sort of going to drop out, and then he sort of got out into a bit better ground. It was a little bit shifty there, and he sort of rattled home again. So, he's an interesting prospect, staying prospect. We think he'd love a nice, really firm deck. And then we've got sort of a send the throne and what you wish for coming out of a really good Waikato Guineas run. So, yeah, sort of some nice chances. I think that field's going to come up pretty hot. So the Derby market will sort of take shape from that race, but we're really happy with our 3.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for your time, Sam, and we will catch you again sometime soon.
Your racing excitement, join Team Te Akau. It's easy, fun and affordable to be part of New Zealand's #1 stable, and we're now in Australia too. We've won more races, more group races and more prize money than any other stable, nearly $10 million in Australia and New Zealand alone. Imagine racing horses like Imperatriz, Campionessa. Whether you're a first-time owner or seasoned pro, at teakauracing.com, go the Tangerine.